Hey, it's Erin. One of the things that really helped me in my own training in terms of picking effective exercises, feeling like I'm not wasting any time at the gym, was to make a list of my top 5 best exercises for each muscle group. And I rank them in order of effectiveness. And I have a system that gives it a percentage as well. So number one might be 100% or close to it. And then as you descend down the list, they become less and less effective. The reason I think that this is so important is because there are so many exercise variations out there. There are so many variations that are really tailored to specific goals. And if you know what these exercises and their variations are, you can better spend your time in the gym. You can make progress faster, make progress better, and feel more accomplished by the time you leave the gym. Today, I thought it would be fun to take my number one exercise for each muscle group and make a full workout of it. And I'll say before we get into the workout, how I came up with this is I would go through a week or so of testing. So each day would be a specific muscle group, and I would test the variations of exercises that I felt were most effective. I'd have my trusty pen and my workout book, and I would go ahead and just rank those exercises. This is something you can do on your own time. It does not take that long, and in fact, it's kind of fun. You can experiment with different stances, different weight distribution, different machines, etc., etc. It's almost an endless list. And if you've been training for quite a while, you probably have a lot of this up here. And if you have a lot of this up here, just know that all of the knowledge you have, you've probably forgotten just as much as you currently know. And I know that's the case for me. So write it down, do yourself a favor, go through some testing, but come with me with today's workout and train and see what you think. And hopefully it inspires you to make your own list and make gains faster. All right, let's go do this workout. Our first exercise is for shoulders. This is the high incline shoulder press. And if you ever experience pain or discomfort with a traditional shoulder press, I encourage you to place the back of the bench at about a 75 to 80 degree angle. Just putting it at this slight high incline is going to get you into proper pressing position so it can be a lot more friendly on those shoulder joints. Now, in terms of setup and performance, I want you to think about pressing from wide to narrow. So you're going to start out at a wide base with those dumbbells just in front of your face, forearms underneath the dumbbells, thumbs wrapped around the dumbbells as well for safety. And at the top of the exercise, you're thinking about pushing the dumbbells together. Next, we're moving on to back, and we are doing the wide, high lat pull down. This is going to target upper back, and you'll see there's some differences between this variation and a regular pull down. For example, the elbows on the traditional pull down, you're going to keep your elbows close to your body and drive them down. For this variation, you are flaring your elbows out, and you're also pointing your elbows more back. This is really going to target that upper back and build that beautiful X frame. The pull is also going to be a lot higher, so instead of pulling to the chest, we're looking to pull to about chin height, giving that mid-rep pause, leaning back slightly. Next, we're moving on to chest. We're going to be doing a Smith incline press. Now for this variation, you want your bench at about a 75 degree angle. So this is because we're targeting more of the upper chest here. Now you want to make sure that your feet are firmly on the floor and that your back is fully supported. And in terms of where the bar should land, you want it to almost graze your chin and hit right at about collarbone height. You want to make sure you're keeping your forearms underneath the bar, and just like you would with that lat pull down, I'm flaring the elbows out slightly. This is going to further help to hit the upper chest. Now keep in mind, you're not going to be able to go as heavy with this variation as you would the traditional incline bench press, but again, we are building the upper chest here. All right, let's hit some glutes. We've got our sumo squat lift. So you've got a kind of traditional deadlift setup, but this is a squat lift. So upper body is going to be a bit more upright. You're going to see more angle to the hips, a little bit more angle to the knee as well. So keeping the chest up. Now the grip, you want to make sure you're not using a mixed grip here. We're working on symmetry and hypertrophy here. So everything must be even. Toes are pointed out, knees are pointed out, feet are about 2 to 2.5 times shoulder width apart. You really want to make sure you're keeping that bar as close to your body as possible, keeping that chest up and going nice and slow on that negative. You can also focus on pushing through the heels. Next, we're moving on to hamstrings, and this is still my all-time favorite exercise. This is the Nordic curl. Easiest setup for this is to find a sturdy machine and just kind of jam your toes underneath it so you've got something holding you in place to perform this exercise. Body stays in plank position and you are going to use your body weight as leverage. So think about using your hamstrings to both lower yourself, and then you're going to think about pulling yourself back up to that starting position. Of course, you keep your hands out to spot yourself, and so you're lightly going to push yourself back up to that starting position. But ideally, you want to get strong enough to be able to do this with just your body weight, and you're going to do as many reps as you can. Now, of course, get to where it burns, and then do one or two more. Moving on to quads, we've got our front squat. Now for the front squat, you're going to hold that bar in rack position. So you got to have good wrist mobility. If you do not, feel free to cross your arms and use an overhand grip on the bar. Bar is going to rest right at about your collarbone. Got to keep those elbows up, keep the chest up. This is great for not only the quads, but you're going to hit back as well. So a lot of these exercises have quite a bit of overlap into building just a superhero physique. Nice and slow on the way down. And in terms of weight distribution, if you really want to hit more quads, you can push through the toes a bit more. We've got a giant set here. We're going into our drag curls as the first exercise. And with the drag curl, this is a golden era bodybuilding move. You want to think about keeping those dumbbells as close to your body as you can, kind of drag them up the front of your body, if you will. You're going to have a break in the wrist at that top portion or the mid-rep portion. And you almost want to think about driving your elbows upwards and back as well. You're going to feel this right in the peak of the bicep. Now we're moving right into our overhead triceps extension. I'm pressing those dumbbells together, keeping the elbows close together as well. Immobilize the upper arm if you can. This is an isolation exercise, so we're simply moving at that elbow joint. You want to make sure you're pushing evenly from right side to left side, no momentum, soft bend in the knee, core is nice and tight, breathing throughout the exercise. Again, as it gets difficult, keep those elbows close together. Really work on those triceps. All right, moving on to calves, calf raise. Do not judge my form here. I'm still getting over that Achilles tear, and that left side is just so shrimpy. And with a calf raise, you want to think about driving the heels forward. So drive the heel forward towards the toe. You are holding onto the dumbbells here, just stabilize with them. And with that heel drive, this is really going to activate the calves. If you decide to make your own list, break down the muscle groups. So you're going to have something like shoulders, chest, back, biceps, triceps, etc. And if you have very specific goals, then you might want to break it down even further. Medial delts, for example, upper back exercises, upper chest exercises. These are exercises that are going to work towards creating that X-frame shape. That's those broad shoulders, narrow waist, and shapely glutes and legs. And also keep in mind that your list is going to be dependent upon what your goals are. Perhaps you don't care at all about aesthetics. You just want to get stronger, or you just want to get more fit endurance-wise. Then your list might be, okay, what are exercises that are going to help me in my sprint endurance? What are going to help me with my regular endurance? What are some cross-training things, etc., etc. So you can see that your template is going to really depend on you, and there are just ultimate variations that we can use. What did you think of today's workout? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you'd like to see next. We're looking for some new ideas, trying to mix things up just a little bit. So if you have any ideas as to what you'd like to see, let me know and I'll make it happen. And that's it for this time. Until next time, train smart, train hard, and have fun, y'all.